Hello, boys and girls. You're now at you're now watching, not listening, but listening and watching Peter Talks Smackdown. My name is Peter. I am one half of Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. Um, I wanted to start something new. I guess if you've been keeping up, I've been doing Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling since SummerSlam, and I've been doing Peter Talks Smackdown maybe for the past 5 weeks. This is like the fifth episode. I apologize for it to be up so late, but I wanted to try something different. I wanted to try something to where hopefully can expand the audience because you get like an actual visual of me talking about wrestling. I'm not sure if Jake will be up to doing Peter and Jake Talks wrestling like this too often, but he has agreed to do prediction shows like this. But I may as well get used to getting in front of a camera and sort of working out the kinks that I could probably correct in just audio format, but I had to get here at some point. So here we are. My name's Peter, and this is Peter Talks Smackdown. If you're interested in hearing other things with pjtwcentral.com, we have Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling where we review Raw and also do prediction shows around the pay-per-views, and we kind of talk like loosely about like wrestling occurrences and events and whatnot. There's also Faster Than a World podcast. That's Jake and the amazing Fritz, and they do reviews of NXT. There's also Peter Talks Wrestling With, where I find people online to have conversations about like wrestling topics and things of that nature. So far, I do most of my conversations with this guy named Nathan Newman, who is on Twitter at Headliner5, and he's from Eyes on the Ring, and we go into some in-depth conversations about the world of wrestling and things of that nature. So if you have the chance, go back and check out that podcast, and also Faster Than the World with Jake and Fritz, and Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. We reviewed WrestleMania and also the Raw after WrestleMania. So far, so good. I mean, I guess it was such an exciting pay-per-view, and also an exciting Raw the day after that. I guess people are hungry to see who has something to say about it. I actually been scouring the network, scouring YouTube, finding reactions and of WrestleMania and the main event, and it's probably one of the reasons why I'm starting to do a video, because I look at the counts and I'm just like, wow. I mean, I would like to have like several hundred, several thousands. Not saying it's going to happen now, but I would like to think months in, when it becomes a little more established that we at PJTW Central are doing something that you actually use as a way to get your wrestling fix in terms of like reviews and stuff. So thank you for checking out this video now, and without further ado, I'm going to go into this SmackDown review. And yeah, if you're actually listening on SoundCloud or Stitcher, remember, you can go to YouTube. It's PJTW Central to be able to see my mug, and another option to get your Peter Talks Smackdown review fix. So yeah, this SmackDown is in Fresno, California, and it starts off with the new WWE Champion Seth Rollins, along with J&J Security and The Big Show, and he's just basically bragging about winning the belt and bragging about his cash in, and to follow up on Raw, he's sort of making excuses about why he didn't give Brock Lesnar his rematch, just like any chicken shit heel should do. And for some reason, he's become the best at it right now. There's been so many chicken shit heels over the past couple of years, and for some reason, Seth Rollins just stands out a little bit better at doing it. So as he's talking, Randy Orton comes out, and he's basically talking about because he beat him at WrestleMania that he deserves a title shot. And Seth is like, well, who you think you are? I'm the champion. I decide who gets a shot, who doesn't. That's my job to do. And at Orton's pretty mad about this, so he runs down basically the entire authority, and he calls J&J some spineless sewer rats. He calls Kane and the Big Show lapdogs. Congratulates the Big Show for winning a Battle Royal, and when he gets to Kane, he's like, I don't even remember the last time you was even at a WrestleMania. You won at this one. Yeah, I don't remember. He just kind of riding him, cutting him down, but there's a part where he goes, you used to be the big red monster, and now you're Little Red Riding Hood, and Kane's pretty pissed. So I guess inadvertently, because he's in the best interest of Seth Rollins, he sets the match. Since you got a smart mouth, he sets a match with Orton and Rollins. And if he defeats Rollins, not Rollins. He sets a match with the Big Show because he has so much lip. And if he can beat the Big Show, he would actually be considered a title shot. Not necessarily get a title shot, but would be considered a title shot. But, it was all one big setup in the first place, because the match starts, it's Show versus Orton. And Orton actually makes short work of the Big Show. Surprisingly, I mean, I'd imagine that Show would have actually had more fight in him, or being that he's the winner of this Battle Royal. Not that it really matters at all, but yeah, he makes short work of him. And before he goes into the RKO, J&J and Kane attack, and they're stumping a mud hole in him until Ryback, of all people, come in with the save. I'm not sure why Ryback is the. I don't know if Ryback would be the right choice to go in and make the save, but they're trying to do something with him, I guess. I guess this would be one of those things to sort of get him up there, because what's happening with Seth Rollins and Randy Orton, being that Seth is the world champion, is that that's the top of the card. And if Ryback can get in where he fit in and be part of that, then yes, he's somewhere floating around the top of the card. And kudos for him, and kudos for the WWE to pull the trigger on something like this, outside of, say, what happened with Survivor Series. So he comes in with the save, a couple of meat hooks and a couple of RKOs going around. I think some shell shocks, but the faces stand tall, and we'll see what goes with this, because I can't recall ever Ryback being anywhere near Randy Orton. So this is going to be a little bit refreshing. And as for the Big Show, for people who are upset that Sandow didn't win the Battle Royal, this is the reason why he shouldn't have won the Battle Royal, because it's not like they would have done anything with him. I mean, of course, the Big Show is with Seth Rollins. I mean, he's basically a heavy to protect the champion, but that's all he is. And winning the Battle Royal is not gonna do anything more for him other than, say, give him bragging rights. So that match between him and Orton, where Orton just kind of whoops his ass real quickly. Imagine if it would have been Sandow. Then what? he would have been put in the same shitty position that the Big Show's in, or say what Cesaro went through last year. So that's that segment. And yeah, if you watch SmackDown, one of the reasons why a lot of people don't watch SmackDown because it's basically a recap of Raw, and the reason why I didn't watch it. But now that I'm doing the podcast, I figure I'll start watching it. And yes, I'm reminded there are a lot of recaps, and we basically get a recap of not only a Raw but also all through the show of WrestleMania. So we do a recap of the Sheamus return and him turning on Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. And then we also get a recap of this segment on WrestleMania with The Rock and Ronda Rousey. And then after that, we go into a match between Naomi and Natty, who definitely believe should be the faces of the women's division. Just recently, we just had this was yesterday, the retirement of AJ. Now, regardless of how I feel about her, it doesn't matter because I'm not the biggest fan of AJ. I never really have been the biggest fan of AJ, but good luck to her. Big up on her decision, the decision that she made to leave the WWE. But that opens up a whole new, like, God, that just opens up so much space for so many other divas to step up and move into the position that she was in, which was at a high regard, always given the title matches, always given the mic time, and always given the air time, given the main event spots through her career, I guess, over the past 3 years since she's been with Raw. Get on the Raw stable. But back to Naomi and Natty, they go in. If you've been keeping up, they've been kind of going back and forth during who I like to call the marksman, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd and the Usos feud. When they do the intergender matches, they always go in and like it becomes like this amazing technical display of wrestling. And this match was no different. The Bellas were on commentary. This match was great, very hard hitting, a lot of technical spots, a lot of reversals and kickouts. But Naomi gets the win with this vicious leg scissors head drop. Now, she doesn't get on TV too often, SmackDown or Raw, to really display her skills as a wrestler. Naomi, that is. But I'm trying to figure out if I've seen her use that move before as a finisher. You normally get the rear view, but this time it turned into this head drop, and honestly, it was, you got these divas that do a lot of these submission holds, especially in NXT and say with Paige and the Black Widow with AJ Lee. This right here is pretty vicious, and I was quite impressed. I hope I hope what happens over the next couple of weeks is that Naomi basically gets her place back in the title contendership, because before Oksana dropped the knee on her eye, she was being positioned to be the next champion. But when that happened, it changed the course of like the Divas division, and maybe it was good for her to wait a while and develop more in the ring and to give her more time to see her ascend to the top. Over the past couple of weeks, I would say since the road to WrestleMania started at the Royal Rumble, it's been focused basically around the Bellas, Paige, and the returning AJ Lee. But now that AJ Lee's gone again, and Paige, I mean, I'm not really sure what they want to do with Paige now. I mean, is she gonna like always be in title contendership, or is there room at the top now? With it's a shame that Natty had to be in this match to lose, because I feel like she needs to be in her own little feud and department where she's battling and putting herself in a place to where she can be champion too. It's almost like Wisconsin versus Kentucky last night, where that should have been the final game and not Duke versus Michigan, and then this throwaway fucking game to Wisconsin and Kentucky that came down to the damn near the final play. So you got these two going at it, and they should be both of them should have the belt, respectively. But the the Bellas, Nikki Bella is the one with the belt, and the Bella twins as a faction are holding on to it. So we'll see what happens, because I want Natty to be just as involved in getting that belt as much as Naomi, but time will only tell. After that, we get a segment with Kane and Seth Rollins backstage. And from the opening, when Kane suggested that Orton would be considered at a title shot if he was to beat the Big Show, Seth Rollins sort of confronted him about it. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you couldn't be serious about giving Randy Orton an actual shot. And, which I think is great for this storyline, because Kane becomes the voice of reason. And that voice of reason is the fact that, look, dude, you don't need to be a chicken shit heel. You're better than being a chicken shit heel. And that, don't you get it? You're the champ. Be a fighting champ. You're better than Orton. It was kind of cool, because it's you look at Kane in his position, not only as the director of operations, but he's also part of the authority, and he's always in the best interest of Seth Rollins. And it seems that maybe they're going to transition to him, from him protecting him, into actually putting him in positions to where he can present how strong he is. But they do have to be careful with that, because that could turn Seth babyface. Now, we get tired of the chicken shit heels, definitely. But if they're trying to keep Seth a heel, the last thing he needs to be is a fighting champion. And basically put him in a position where it says, you know what, you may end up having to defend that belt against Orton, because he did beat you at WrestleMania at Extreme Rules. And then all of a sudden, I think, Seth Rollins is complaining. He's like, oh, man. He goes, this stinks. And he's like, no, it doesn't stink. It's fine. But he's like, no, it really stinks. And next thing you know, you hear a toilet flush. Rollins gets the hell out of there, and Ambrose shows up. Apparently, he was taking a dookie in the executive bathroom. And and because of that, it pisses Kane off. It's like, you have the audacity to take a shit in the toilet for me and the rest of the authority. I'm going to punish you in a match with Luke Harper, and which is funny because Ambrose actually thanks him for putting him in a match. After that segment, we get this interview with Byron Saxton and Roman Reigns, and it's like a sit-down interview where they're going over the psychology of Reigns and how he felt about being in the match at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. And it's basically Reigns saying that he survived Suplex City, and it was a hard match, and this and that. He gave me all he had, and I still showed that I was strong, quote unquote. But it's just a bunch of questions. One of the quotes is, I survived Suplex City, and I might buy a condo there. Now, going over this going over this little package, this little interview, this is probably the smoothest that I've seen Roman Reigns be, not only in front of a camera, but given the opportunity to speak. He's growing up fast. I mean, I give him kudos, but this was a really, really good interview. He showed a lot of comfort going back and forth with Byron Saxon. Now, I don't know how much of that was cut out and edited and made to look good, but for what it's worth, it was actually pretty good. Um, he ends the interview by saying if he had 30 seconds more, just 30 seconds more, um, that he would actually won the title off of Brock Lesnar. And when it came to the idea of Rollins having to face Rollins, he's like, well, I beat Rollins before, and I could beat him again. And then we get a match between The Miz and R-Truth. Which I find funny about like The Miz and R-Truth is that at one point they were like a formidable tag team. I mean, they weren't the best, but they were in a situation where in they were in a program with John Cena at the top of the card, like, which was crazy. R-Truth beats Cena before the pipe bomb, and then The Miz beat John Cena at WrestleMania. I mean, and then they were a tag team, and now they're facing, and it's like it never happened. Like the two of them being at least somewhat in cahoots, but whatever. We get a match between the two of them, and basically The Miz makes short work of Truth, which is weird to me because I think Truth is one of the better wrestlers in the company. But yeah, but he doesn't have a storyline right now other than say playing the jigaboo with the belt when they were doing the whole Intercontinental thing, and all of a sudden he's in this match, and he loses to a skull crushing finale, and I didn't get to watch this live, but maybe the video that I was watching was somehow was glitchy, but like nowhere else during the fucking video. But this part, all I see at the end is Ms. Dow putting on the shades and taking them off or what have you. Apparently, he must have gone in and attacked the Miz. So there we go with that. We extend that feud a little bit more. I only hope that it results in a match at Extreme Rules, because I think if it's gone, I mean, I have to give again the WWE credit for having this feud last as long as it has. It's probably one of the most refined feuds, one of the most refined storylines they have ever since Ms. Dow actually becoming the stunt double, and then everything in between that to now him getting independence during the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and getting attacked by Miz Monday, and now him returning the favor. Now, depending on how, I'm not sure when Extreme Rules is, maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks, what have you, but I really hope it comes to an end. It's time to move either Ms. Dow back to Sandow, and then him being a legitimate fighter, a contender for something, maybe the IC belt, maybe even the World Heavyweight Championship. No one remembers the cash-in match that he had against John Cena. That was very amazing. He ended up losing, damn man, like he just plummeted down the card. But for the most part, the guy not only has great in-ring ability, he also is like a master on the microphone. You know, when he was the savior, the intellectual savior to the masses. I mean, some of the best promos in terms of, yeah, I get it, it was a comic stick, but he was still dishing out some really heavy promo action, and it's about time to either just drop him altogether after he leaves The Miz or really run with him, because this feud has definitely tipped, and hopefully it ends at Extreme Rules. As for the Miz, they're gonna always keep the Miz. He's always gonna be somewhere floating around. He's one of the best heels in the company right now, where there's a lack of actual heels other than say Seth Rollins and maybe the Big Show, but really hard to come by. And he's an amazing heel, so they're always gonna have work for him. Where he goes after Sandow is beyond me. Maybe he gets back into the whole IC picture, because I don't see him going back to the World Championship anytime soon. And then after that, we get a John Cena promo, and it's a uberly patriotic promo. Like, it's over the top because he's given, since WrestleMania when he was doing his promos on Rusev, he gave some patriotic promos, but this was like the granddaddy of them all, where it's like, fuck you, you may as well just put me in red, white, and blue, even though his shirt, the new shirt, the Champions Here shirt with the U.S. belt is red, white, and blue. His color coordination is all fucked up, by the way. He's rocking that teal fucking hat and wristbands, and he's rocking that black, red, white, and blue shirt. I mean, I know you got to still sell product, but man, let's get this shit together somehow. It looks weird. It's like overdone. But he's Captain America right now, and he talks about the belt being like this thing of opportunity. Well, because of the U.S. being like a land of opportunity, that he's going to use that belt as a source of opportunity for wrestlers to come at him and get a shot. So his open challenge every week is going to be like a regular thing, and I mean, we see what happens. I mean, that's pretty cool of Cena to do, especially with that mid card looking for an opportunity, quote unquote, to grab that brass ring. And if Cena is going to fill you out right now like that, you can be in a better position. And there's a whole host of people that could use that opportunity. So kudos to Cena for doing that. But Rusev and Lana come out, and it's like, you would think there would be tension between Lana and Rusev, but it's not. They were actually on the same accord going out there. And, there's this one instance where Lana's talking, and then Rusev just takes the mic from her. But, and he's like, I did not lose at WrestleMania. And just like any good heel, all right, so we got three good heels right now. We got Seth Rollins, we got The Miz, and now we have Rusev. And when Rusev talks in that broken Russian English shit, it's just awesome. And he doesn't miss a step, and he just gives this great heated promo, and he seems a little delusional, but he's pretty fucking pissed off. And they go back and forth, and at the end, Rusev is like, well, I'm going to get my rematch at Extreme Rules, and what you're going to see is this. And he waves the Russian flag, and then then you're going to see this. And he points to the top of the ring, where normally his flag explodes and drops down, that whole spot, but it doesn't come down. And he goes, and this. He does it a second time, and the flag does not come down. And then John Cena is like, and at Extreme Rules, you mean you'll see this. And he points up to where the American flag comes down, and instead of the Russian flag. And that's basically it. I guess we're going to have this, what happens, this is another match from WrestleMania that's going to be repeated. That's what Extreme Rules is anyway. It's just going to be basically the same card. So we already got Orton versus Rollins. Now we got Cena versus Rusev. I guess the only other match so far that we have in the picture would be The Miz and Mizdow. But that's it. I guess we're going to see the open challenge each week, and maybe Rusev comes out and fucks up Cena as he's trying to defend the belt. We'll see. I mean, Cena's not going to lose that belt for a while, and we'll be curious to know if actually Rusev gets his win back. Um, yeah, I guess it would be the rubber match. Actually, this would be the third time facing each other. So look forward to that. And after that, we get a Neville vignette. And if you went and watched Raw last week, it was great Raw. And when Neville debuted, I would like to know you guys' opinion on Neville's debut with the cape. And do you think that he's a little too fast for the Raw roster? Just a little too fast. Did anyone else notice that it was hard for Axelmania to keep up with him? And who do you see him going up against? To this day, I mean, it's great that he's on the roster. He's an amazing talent, but as swift and fast as he is, and the fact that obviously he's not going to be pushed to, go after the belt. Who do you see him feuding with? I don't see any. Right now, I have no idea where he would even think to start. But I'd like to know your thoughts on that. And then that led into the Harper versus Ambrose match. And, well, they weren't dressed the same this time. The last time they were in the ring together during that sort of IAC tornado match or whatever the fuck that was, it was like, whatever. But when they were in that match together, they were both basically wearing the same gear, and they looked like a tag team. I wish they were a tag team. But in this match, which ends in a no contest, I imagine they're going to keep this feud alive. But it's back and forth. It's a pretty good match. The two of them are just wrestling gold. I know I sing the praises of Harper a lot because it's deserved. I don't sing the praises too much of Ambrose because it's just a little too gimmicky. But I do give him respect on the fact that his wrestling ability is something that is interesting to watch. And between Harper, who also has an interesting gimmick while wrestling, those two just go together so well. They should be a fucking tag team. But it ended up being the spot where Harper clears out the table, and it seems that he's about to, do some real damage on his ass. But Ambrose fights back. He fights out of being put through a table, but Harper reverses, switches the roles, and he gets the advantage again, and he power bombs the living shit again out of Dean Ambrose, and he goes right through the motherfucking table. And maybe this is the theme that they were shooting for from the IC ladder match, and where Harper power bombed him through the ladder. Now he's power bombed him through the announce table. Now it looks like we may get a match between the two of them, or this is the seed. I don't know. Raw, sometimes they can get a little too trigger happy with their matches and just throw it away on free TV. But I would be very interested to see Luke Harper in another pay-per-view match. The guy can do it. And I'll also like to see that match with Ambrose and see how that turns out. Do they just blow it off? Do they do a 3-match series? Or do they ultimately become a tag team? One will only tell. I hope they become a tag team. Whether they're just bloodied up on the ground looking at each other like, dude, you're crazy. Like, dude, you're crazy. Let's be a tag team. Now, would they be like a heel tag team? Nah, not really. They're both too really good, too good in the ring. And their characteristics are, you could like a guy like Harper. You could like a guy like Ambrose, and he's really over, but he hasn't been able to win any big matches. And even with that open challenge to John, that he had that match with John Cena, he was able to win. So let's see what happens. After that, we get this package with the primetime players, and they're basically chastising the New Day. This is out of the blue. And even to the point where they call out Kofi Kingston's weird, like, chest thing. I mean, looks like it's separating, but they call it out. Like, woof, I guess it's on. But, and I don't know what the fuck they plan to do with the primetime players. Even with them, the tag team division is pretty fucking weak. But they call them out, and it looks like they're going to start a feud. It's going to be a black wrestler on black wrestler feud thing, which you don't want to take it there, but it's just a little too obvious to how they treat the black wrestlers. I don't know. So either way, it was a good comeback by Big E on Twitter. I think he used the lines Jigaboo and Tyler Perry rejects. So, whoop. There it is. Where that's going to go, I don't know. If that feud's going to be on Main Event or like Superstars or maybe on SmackDown. I mean, they aired it out on SmackDown, so possibly the feud could be there. But there, no way in hell they're going to show that shit on Raw. And then the next, I'm just trying to run through this. I'm getting used to this. I like this. After that, we get Sheamus. And he comes out to spit a promo. He has new music. Not only does he have a new look, he has new music, which is actually pretty good. I think I would have pulled my hair out if I would have heard, "It was the shame to fame." Well, that's a bad joke. But he comes out to new music. And he comes out, he talks about, why did I attack Brian? Because I can. And he basically shoots on the new internet darling small guy wrestlers. And he's talking about, as he was sitting at home, all he could do was watch Raw and see all these little guys. He's basically getting the Benoit treatment, but given the Chris Benoit treatment. But all I'm seeing are these little guys, trying to go after the championship, and it didn't sit well with me. Where are all the real men? Where are all the big men? And he just goes off, basically a rant on all these internet darlings that aren't big guys like Sheamus, who aren't big guys like John Cena, who aren't big guys like Triple H. And his role in the WWE now is to basically run through all your internet darlings. That's his thing. I'm here to crush your dreams and crush the dreams of your underdogs. And we get a Sheamus versus Bryan match. Now, it was supposed to have been, this is the main event. It was supposed to have been, I think, Wade Barrett and Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan. But what ended up happening in the return, where it was supposed to look like a save, but it basically Sheamus turning, he kicks Bryan and then he kicks Ziggler. And Ziggler, probably out of all the guys on the roster, is probably the most concussion prone guy on the main roster. And sure enough, that stiff kick that he gave to Ziggler concussed him, and he wasn't cleared to fight. So Sheamus being reckless once again. So we get Sheamus versus Bryan in the main event of SmackDown with Barrett on commentary. A very, 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 I don't know what it is about Daniel Bryan, man. And this is one of my biggest beefs so far since he's returned. And it seems like every week he has me on fucking pins and needles. Now, I'm not the biggest Bryan fan, but I do enjoy his work, and I appreciate him for what he is and what he does, and the Yes Movement. It's all fun. I've been to a couple of, at the Greensboro Coliseum, like Raw and SmackDown tapings, and doing the yes, and rooting for him, and actually wanting him to face. I was one of those guys that was like, yes, I would definitely pay to see a Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, but that wasn't the case. So hey, so let it be. But man, since he's been back, it seems like he's just been in matches that are like so fucking dangerous. Dangerous, I say. Between him and Harper damn near breaking his neck every time he's in the ring, to a ladder match. You know, like it seems like every time, and maybe I'm the only one. I know I'm not the only one, but if you feel the same way, whenever Bryan is in, especially Monday, the guy just had neck surgery, and he's in the ring doing the most crazy shit that would suggest that he's a fucking loose cannon, that he doesn't give a shit about his health. And this match was one of those. And Sheamus, maybe he likes playing rough. Maybe he likes like giving us these moments of worry. Maybe that's all part of his shtick right now, to make us worry about him. But man, my God, that him facing Sheamus, there was like this one move. It was like a suplex thing, man. It looked like it was going to be a suplex, but instead of coming down with him, he just kind of tosses Bryan in the air. He just flips and lands on his fucking neck. He does it twice. It's like, what the fuck are you thinking? But I guess that's Bryan, and maybe this is why we're gonna stay interested in him, because you think every move he's gonna fucking die, or like basically lose movement, paralyze himself. I don't know, man. It's some scary shit. But then I think what happens at the end of the match, Sheamus is about to go for the, like, when he hits the chest, the 10 beats of the barrel, what the fuck name that thing is. I wish he would. That's such a babyface move. Why would he do that anymore? Like, get away from that move. That's not a move you need to be doing as heel Sheamus. But Bryan gets out of it, and he headbutts him. Like, just headbutts. Like he did with Ziggler. But this time, he gets colored. He gets colored up. Blood everywhere. Now, you reach a point where he gets off the apron, the ring apron, and I don't know if Barrett or anyone in the announce table saw that Daniel Bryan got colored, but Wade Barrett knocks the living shit out of him with a bullhammer. Just, this guy, this Bryant, man. And Sheamus wins via count out. You just let his ass stay. Now, again, which is really weird. Again, I guess all arrows pointed to the fact that Bryan wasn't really doing that well after those headbutts. So I think Sheamus even acted as if he was going to go outside and do some more damage, but I think he just stayed in and let the count out go, and that's basically SmackDown. This is fun. I actually had doubts that this was going to run smoothly, but I guess it went smooth enough for the first try, and I'm gonna start doing these Peter Talks Smackdown video. I feel good about this. But also, if you're listening on SoundCloud, you can go to the PJTW Central or Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Central on YouTube. Subscribe. And you can also listen to Stitcher. People on Stitcher too. You can also see my ugly mug on YouTube now. But this will also be audio format. Will be on the SoundCloud page. So yeah, and be sure to check out all the rest of the podcasts that PJTW Central has to offer. Follow me on on Twitter under Ellen Japanese. That's LINJAPANESE. That's my regular Twitter account where I post things about sports, and it's MLS season, and I just so happen root for the worst team in that in that promotion, which is the Philadelphia Union. This is my second year rooting for them, and I just watched tonight them lose in stoppage time, an equalizer in stoppage time, and then an extra goal for the Sporting KC. So yeah, I'm gonna be talking a lot about that. I'm gonna be talking about the Pacers now that Paul George is back, and just this, that, and the other. The Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Twitter handle is PJTW Central. So follow me there. I'll be posting live, and I think I'm gonna start doing like live reactions to Raw as well. I want to definitely dive more into this video thing. Um, Check out Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling this Wednesday, which will not be in video format. Maybe I can talk him into doing it sometime soon after SummerSlam. We're going to review Raw. Be sure also to check out Faster Than the World podcast, which is Jake and Fritz. And they review Raw. They review NXT. And then hopefully this week, Peter Talks Wrestling with Eddie Ruger, who's a MC from around here. He's also a big wrestling fan. So we're just going to go back and forth talking wrestling. And also check out the pilot to Dang, We Love Divas. Dang, We Love Divas, which is a new podcast that will be part of the PJTW Central family, where she will review. If you watch Total Divas, she will be doing a review on the Total Divas show. The pilot is the season finale of last season's. And we're gonna have to wait a while till the next one. When it kicks back up, the season premiere, she's gonna start doing them again. So she'll be coming back and forth, doing reviews with me, with Jake, or Peter and Jake, blah 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 blah. But go ahead and check out Dang We Love Divas pilot. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Share, add, comment, thumbs up, rate, do all these things, repost, because we're just a small minnow in a big pond, which is the World of Wrestling podcast. We just trying our best. So thank you so much for listening, and you'll hear from me on Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Wednesday. So peace.